Hi there. Today I'm going to take you through the process of painting this very loose landscape. It's cornfields in the summer on a gentle slope, and I hope you enjoy the process. Just very short. So I started off by wetting my paper, and I'm using a Bockingford 140-pound knot paper, and I've just put just some clear water in where the sky is going to be. And my sky is mostly ultramarine and a tiny little bit of a more intense blue, so it could be, I think I've used a peacock blue, which is a Shinhan paint here, but it could be a touch of phthalo or cobalt or something just a little bit brighter than the ultramarine on its own. And then I'm using a damp brush just to lift some of that colour out to give me some clouds. Don't want a big dramatic sky, just something to set the scene with this painting. Gentle summer sky. Now I've let that sky, the amount of water in that sky drop back just a little bit, but my distant trees that I'm putting in here, the sky is still damp but not really wet, so those are going to spread into that sky just a little bit and soften and just give you a bit more of that sense of distance. And then I allowed all of that to dry off, and I've come back in with pretty much the same colour, but because it's now going onto dry paper it looks much darker, much stronger. I'm coming in with my Cornfield colours, so I've got a bit of quinacridone gold. You could use raw sienna or yellow ochre. I've also got a little bit of a sap green that I'm using. Well, it's not a great shot here, but I'm just using the tip of a palette knife just to scratch out some branches and trunks into those trees. Again, just let them go damp a little bit and then scratching that back. I'm just using the end of a little bamboo stick. Again, it's just scratching some marks into the painting. This creates a little texture on the surface of the paper, and the paint can dip and pool into that, and it can just move the paint around a little bit. Coming back to my bigger brush, and I'm just again putting some water down. And a bit of my, like I say, ochre or gold, quinacridone, a bit of ultramarine, a bit of turquoise coming in. Putting a bit of a hedgerow coming through here. Again, this is all wet on wet, so it's gonna soften out. Keeping it very simple. I'm just picking up my palette knife here, just scraping away along the base of that hedgerow just to give it a bottom line. Now coming back in with the same sort of colours, but just a bit more intensity of colour, and I'm also splattering some water around. I've got a bit of a purple here. You could either use a dioxin purple if you've got that already mixed, or you could mix some ultramarine with some rose to give you a bit of purple. When using yellows, you want to contradict it with purples rather than blues, so you don't end up too green in places. Scraping back with my palette knife. Just scraping a little bit of texture into the foreground and then just scribbling some in with my little brush. And it's all still wet on wet at the minute, so it's going to be beautifully soft, which is what I was after for this particular piece. Now I've let that dry back, and coming back again, similar colours but just again on dry paper, so it intensifies all of these colours and marks, and just building up my darks. A little bit more scratching. Again, just building up more of that intensity of colour. This time I've taken my gold ochre colours and I've added some of more of a red into that, so I think this was like a cadmium red that I've added in here. Just wanted this little flash of colour. It's going to be softened down as we go through, but just adds a little something. Now I've made up a purple here, just saw a little flash of colour on my finger, which was an opera rose, which is quite a bright rose, and I've used that with some ultramarine just to give me these beautiful violet tones. Spreading that out and coming back in with my little bamboo stick, and again just scratching to give it a more sort of grassy finish. Bit of splashing always goes well, except when it goes in the sky, so you have to take it out again. So as I come forward, I'm putting in more of my warmer colours, my ochres, reds, oranges, peaches, and those purpley shadows. And a bit of water to make that run. Now, this is an older film, an older video, so I do try these days to film from multiple angles so I'm not covering my hand, so you can actually see what I'm doing most of the way through. I still thought it was an interesting painting, so I thought it was worth putting in, even though a few times my hand does cover what I'm doing. So here we have how it dried off. I hope you've enjoyed this very short inspirational clip about painting a loose landscape of a cornfield.